Welcome to the Bell Gossett podcast, live from the 2020 AHR Expo. I'm your host, Amanda Holloway, joined by Griffin Goda, and throughout the show, we'll have some fantastic guests and topics to share with you in this series, including several of our manufacturers, reps, and Xylem experts. You'll get insights into the trends they're seeing in the HVAC and plumbing industry. Enjoy the show. I'm joined this afternoon by Mike, Kevin, and Chris with Oslin Nation Co out of Texas. So if you guys can just kind of go around and introduce yourselves, what you do for your company, that'd be great.
I'm Chris Wander. I am the North Texas Contractor Aftermarket Sales Manager for, I don't know how many states are there, but it's a big state. It's about 10 hours across, and it's about 3.5 hours north to south.
I'm Kevin Schaal. I'm the branch manager for the Austin territory market.
And I'm Mike Barnett. I'm the head janitor. My job is to clean up everybody's mess.
Great. Well, let's get right to Watermark then and how you're going to support that.
You know what? That's a great initiative. So we thought about this. We were actually challenged with this last year, and we struggled with it, and I actually saw the other reps do it. And so I got a phone call from our MDM around September, October, and he says, Mike, what are you guys going to do about this? And I said, I don't know what it is you want us to do. So I decided to start doing some homework. And so he finally calls me back and says, okay, this is what you got to do, Mike. All they're wanting you to do is figure out how are you going to make an impact in your neighborhood or your community. I've thought about it long and hard. I said there was no way for us to be able to do that in 2019, just not enough time frame there. So we're going to let it get a little bit warmer since we're going to be messing with water. And I figured for the most part it'll be something early summer when the kids are out of school, and we'll try to make a family event happen.
That's fun.
We've got 55 employees in North Texas. We've got 8. Is that right, Kevin?
Yep.
In Austin?
Yes.
We've got another 16 or 17 in Houston, another 6 or 8 in San Antonio. So to try to do something vast for every territory would be tough. But I think we'll pick 1 or 2 areas and just try to find something that we can bring in a lot of people together and make a 3 or 4 hour weekend out of it.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about Oslin Nation. How long you guys been around?
1943.
Okay. And you've been Bell Gossett reps.
And we've all worked there since 1939.
Okay.
We look great, don't we?
You do. Haven't aged a bit.
It's the Texas water.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just a quick overview. Mr. Nation actually was the founder of the company. Started it out of his garage, as I remember, in his trunk, and got the Bell Gossett line pretty early on. He actually started off with McDonald Miller.
Okay.
And grew the business, and then the company was acquired from another family heirloom of Bell Gossett and the Boone brothers, and they were actually the grandchildren of E.J. Gossett.
Fantastic.
So they owned the company for a while, and then my partners and I, as employees, took over the management of the company and ownership of it, and we've been doing that now for about 13 years.
That's awesome. So Texas, what kinds of questions are you getting from your customers? What are their needs specifically? Do you have like a top 2 or 3 things that you often get asked for from your customers in terms of installations? I mean,
Low price is always something our customers are always asking for. We're faced with a lot of, now we have a lot of design build stuff popping up, so lead times are always critical, trying to meet schedules and get, a lot of legwork done up front. So we have a lot of challenges up front that contractors are asking us for to work with them and getting them selections, Revit models, going through and trying to, work through, pre-check installations for boilers and things like that. So we're faced with a lot of challenges of just, up front of trying to pre-coordinate, submittals, any type of issues, any type of assistance, design assistance that we can offer.
Kevin, is it fair to think that you've been in the business a long time, right?
Yes.
From when you were in, Chris, when you were in it, don't you feel like that the challenge, one of the challenges that we face is just the learning aspect of the products that we have with the generational gap? Is that something that you guys see? You've been in the business for 20-something years. You've been
1939.
1939, exactly.
Right. No, I think our customers and the history and the culture and what Bell Gossett stresses so much is our customers expect us to be system experts. So they rely on us to help them when they get in a bind. Whether they buy the products from us or not, hopefully they do. But there are occasions when our competition does something strategically and we aren't able to get an order. But in many cases, they still come back to us to resolve a problem that they have within a system. And that's where I think that the education that we're get and the knowledge and the know-how of the guys within this industry and within Xylem even, where we gain a lot of knowledge. And we have people that have been in this for a long time. We go to them too. I think that's our strength. That's our customers rely on us ultimately, that even if they buy it from somebody else, I think they kind of feel like they can fall back on us to help them fix it.
Sure. I mean, it's customers king, so service is really important.
Yeah, obviously it's disappointed if you don't close the order, but when it comes around and you hopefully be able to use that the next time you're at the table with them.
Yeah, expertise I think is the foundation that we kind of source everything on. We can't give the service unless we have the expertise. And through the a lot of the Bell Gossett reps that have been Bell Gossett reps for a long time carry on a lot of history, a lot of knowledge. And Bell Gossett's had the little Red Schoolhouse and provided us with resources and things that are able to continue on and pass that knowledge on, not only to our customers, but enable us to provide the tools to our market. So that it builds the foundation and makes us stand apart from our competitors.
Have you guys been out to the Little Red Schoolhouse since they completed the renovations?
Not yet.
No.
It looks mighty fine.
It's been about 2 years since I've been to the Red Schoolhouse.
Okay.
I've heard great things. I've heard from people that have gone up, from our customers and as well as some of our employees that have been up there since they made the remodel. And I've seen some videos and it looks very impressive, and I can't wait to see it firsthand.
On our show, In the Field with Gould's Water Technology, the latest series covers tips and trainings for small business owners. Listen to all 5 episodes of the Small Business Toolbox series wherever you get your podcasts. What about energy efficiency, like hitting the regulatory compliance with the DOE 2020, mechanical room space? We talked to somebody, a rep from New York today, and he was talking about how that space is at such a premium in that area that they're really looking for innovative ways to kind of package systems to maximize that tenant space and that leasable space. And so, what are you guys seeing in Texas? Are people really driving for more efficient systems or smaller? Or,
I doubt it if it's any different than what you see around the country. When the designers build the building, they're leaving the mechanical guys less and less space to put it in. So they're trying to be creative and come up with ways to get the products they need into the room. That's where the VSX falls in line. One of the battles we have is against the vertical inline pumps that one of our competitors tout to be a space-saving item. And we are in the current process of educating the engineering community that that's not accurate.
We've done some white papers on that topic, actually.
Yeah.
I think we're very blessed. I think we're very blessed that Xylem put forth a commitment to being the industry leader in efficiency. They saw this coming from a long time ago, and we are in a market-leading position right now. And so I think that we're always getting asked every year, hey, how are you going to do in sales? Hey, what's it going to look like this year? And I think the good light that we have in front of us is that we have a product that we can gain market share. The market is what the market is, but because of the leading efficiencies and the brand offering that we have an opportunity to capture more of that market share.
As far as energy efficiency, you had a couple of questions. You had energy efficiency, space savings, constraints and things like that. Energy over the past 5 to 10 years, and even over the past 20 years, we've seen the increase in VFDs. Over the past 5 to 10 years, we've seen the increase in LEED certifications, getting LEED AP and BD certifications. I went and got my LEED AP certification, and just to learn more about it and find out what it was all about, I got interested, wanted to get involved, and I just wanted to know more, and I got involved in LEED projects and talking with Worked on projects that were LEED Silver and LEED Gold certification. We're seeing more and more of that. We're seeing ASHRAE start to adapt some of those standards, and it's great to see that the DOE has been putting out, regulatory, items to improve upon that. And I'm interested to see when they start with the horizontal split case and the other products that haven't been touched yet.
Yeah.
So that's been interesting. Excited to see where that's going. On the side of space savings, we're seeing, a lot of that. I was last year challenged with a project that I was working on for about a couple of years. It was called the Oslin Energy District Cooling Plant number 3. They had a little sliver of land, which was like a crescent moon shape, right in the middle of a residential area. So they had a very small footprint to put a massive cooling, central plant, and for district cooling to send throughout the city. And being right in the middle of a residential area, it was very, very sound sensitive. So, for the cooling towers, they had to get selections which utilized very low sound, ultra quiet type fans. The pumps and everything that we were doing, everything was being speculated, and looked at to see what the dB levels were from 5, 10, 50, 150 feet away. There was so many design, and we were looking at everything from horizontal split case to vertical turbine. They were not only running my selections, but my competitors' selections. We used Hydraulic Institute standard in looking at the different selections that we were rating, looking at, preferred selection versus, the allowable selection ranges of Hydraulic Institute. And we found, and we were running part load conditions and what the allowable range was in there. So there was a lot of time put into the selections, and I think that the value that we brought to the consulting engineer made us stand apart from our competition, and they recognized that we were able to do things that our competition couldn't, and we were able to find them solutions and get them into we had a range of different selections and designs of pumps that we were bringing in that our competition wasn't even thinking of. So we were able to provide some expertise in that situation and provide value. And and the project's underway. They're starting to lift things into place, and
nice.
And we're coming to a close on it. And they achieved everything that they were looking to achieve. And it's to see it all being put together, and to look at the footprint that they're putting it in is it's a 3-level mechanical room, and like I said, it's a very thin, narrow type crescent moon shaped plant. So it's pretty impressive looking when it all to see it all. But we see more and more of that. We see that the architects are giving us small footprint to put our equipment in, and then they're taking large rooms for other areas and trying to limit what we have to do is making us put equipment outside or trying to fit it in a small space and things like that. So we continue to see challenges on space savings. And
so you mentioned this district cooling facility. What couple other projects you've done recently that had some unique circumstances similar to this that you've solved for?
Gosh, we've had several. Chris, you've had.
So I don't know about unique systems or issues that we've solved, but we definitely felt the needs of the projects. Texas has, over the last several years, and Governor Abbott and the state, we have no state income tax. We really invite out-of-state people to come to Texas. It's a huge benefit for them. Some of the ones I can mention, Toyota moved their corporate headquarters from Torrance, California, which is just outside LA, to North Dallas in the Plano, Texas area. That was a project that we did, and there was essentially 7 towers on that job, and we ended up furnishing 7 booster systems. We ended up furnishing 2 booster systems. 7 of them were for domestic water, 2 of them were for gray water. So they had an initiative to collect gray water and recycle that. And 2 of the booster systems, why we didn't sell the gray water systems, they wanted to keep all of the pumps with the same manufacturer. The contractor, the installing contractor, made a conscious decision because I believe because of the relationship we had with them, because of the reputation that Bell Gossett has, and just the history that we ended up furnishing everything on that job that I want to say that has a motor, but that's not quite the case. So we ended up having several VSX pumps on that for condenser water and chilled water. We ended up having a bunch of tertiary pumps. So in the 7 buildings, we had a pair of 1510s in every building. Every building, like I said, had a booster system. Some had 2. We ended up having, out of those buildings, there was 38 elevators. So we had 38 Gould's submersible sump pumps in the elevator shafts. So it was overall a very good project, I think, and it turned out very well for everybody. We had Legacy West, which is, of course, J.P. Morgan Chase.
Okay.
They're building. North Texas is kind of becoming a financial center. I don't know how many people realize it, but Charles Schwab is currently building their corporate headquarters in North Texas. Charles Schwab bought TD Ameritrade. We did that project, which was on a separate campus, and they're going to combine those in the South Lake, Texas area, which is in northwest Tarrant County. Liberty Mutual built just on the other side of J.P. Morgan Chase, so that Plano area in North Dallas. At the time that job was going, the contractor had told me that was the largest square footage of any project in the United States being built was that project. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I can tell you when you drive by the thing on the tollway, it's a massive structure.
Impressive.
Very impressive structure, and it's not just in fact that it's not. I don't know that I would call it a high rise because it's a huge square structure. It's so much square footage on each floor. I don't know what it is, but if I have to guess, it's 50,000 square feet, maybe 80,000 square feet per floor, and then there's a parking structure next to it. So it's a large property. So we've had a lot of those, and hopefully we continue to see that. We've had some data centers being built. We got one currently being built. The one that's just wrapping up is a Facebook data center that we've done a lot on. That consisted of about 6 buildings in North Texas, and that was a lot of Gould's pumps and whatnot. So over the last 3 to 5 years, that's kind of where we've been focusing.
You guys been busy.
Yes.
Stadiums are next.
Oh, well,
Stadiums.
let's bring up the stadiums.
So Texas Rangers, next year's World Series champions, their stadium will open next month. The lease is running out on the previous stadium, which is 25 years old. It was built in the 70s. Beautiful ballpark. They determined there was a need, and it was very well justified, the need to have a roof on the stadium in Texas. After a while, people get tired of sitting in 110-degree heat to watch a baseball game. So we now...
Can't imagine why.
So we have a stadium with a retractable roof. It just happens to be about
2 miles.
About 2 miles from Oslin Nation's current office, so it's very close. I don't think that had anything to do with the fact that we were successful in getting the job, but it certainly didn't
that's exciting.
hurt. So yeah, it's very good. We ended up furnishing all the VSX pumps again, HSCs on that job too, I think.
Yep.
As well as, oh my gosh, a 30-inch air separator, a 14-inch air separator, just a lot of the hydronic piping equipment.
Great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good win.
Yeah, that was a very nice win for Bell Gossett as well as some of our other manufacturers we represent.
So we get a lot of phone calls for case studies. I feel like you better get ready.
So that's interesting because as we look, we're here at AHR this year, and as we walk around the show, and that project is starting to wrap up. People are saying that, and so we want to get our marketing person into the building. We want to get some pictures taken.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in that structure right now as they're trying to meet their deadlines.
Sure.
So whether or not we will make that happen or not before they open or definitely after they open.
Yeah.
So we have equipment in the building. We've already made communication with the guys from the previous stadium that are going to take over the facility management at the new stadium. And I'm sure that along the line somewhere, if it's not with the installing contractor, I think the relationship would develop with the owners and the guys that are going to be managing that equipment. We'll get in there and get some marketing material out of that.
That's cool. That's awesome.
It's exciting. Yeah.
So let's shift to Bell Gossett for a second. Not shift, but I just want to
Wait a
ask
second.
you.
We haven't been talking about
Well, I just want to hear from you what you think are some of the more important innovations that Bell Gossett's brought to you as manufacturers reps in recent years.
I think I covered it earlier. I think it's just the study that they've done on re-energizing or creating the best efficiencies they could out of the pumps that we have. I mean, This was an initiative that they started 5-6 years ago. This wasn't something that they just found out about with the DOE. Because we have those efficiencies, personally, I feel like that's what's going to lead us in the future. There's going to be a lot of people catching up, and so I don't know what your background is, but we've kind of gotten frustrated over the years. We feel like we're the ones chasing, and now I guess we get the lead, and so we're going to get to see how fun that might be.
Yeah, and as we get out and talk to engineers, Kevin does a lot of that, talking to engineers and educating them on the difference between our curves and our efficiency curves and what our pumps efficiency ratings are versus our competitor ratings, I think is a major strength for us.
Sure. I mean, for years you had engineers selecting around part load efficiencies for chillers and boilers and things like that, and now we're starting to look at part load efficiencies for pumps. And when we have a parallel pump curve or we have a variable speed curve and we have a controllable curve versus the pump curve and where we're falling at different speeds on that curve. We're starting to look at more of those probably on larger selections, but even as we approach more on the DOE standards when circulators are going to be the spotlight, and now we're seeing more developments in our an expansion of our offering on the EcoCirc and the EcoCirc XL. We're starting to see different voltages and horsepowers and a bigger range of products being offered there. It's exciting to see that and working with a lot of engineers down. We're able to provide selections in areas where we couldn't before. There's been the innovation of it.
Yeah, and we're hoping the new EHSC will take us to the next step against our competitors and the number of sizes of pumps that offers us. It's huge. So as it replaces, I think 4 other previous pumps and works its way into the marketplace, I think will be beneficial in the long term for us.
Yeah, it's a very expansive offering. You're getting into some of the industrial stuff, and there's talk of PIP bases and different things like that. And it's nice to have one pump that's developed that can do a whole lot more, and consolidate some of that. So. It was pretty exciting to see that unveiled at the last show.
I'll throw this in. One of the things you mentioned earlier, how do we help people and whatnot, but the first thing that comes to my mind is I moved from the Midwest to Texas about 20 years ago, and maybe the people in California realize this, and the people in Florida realize this, but the people in the northern states, and there are a few of them, whether you're in Nebraska or Minnesota or New York or South Dakota, the size of the pumps are different. So they're trying to produce heat, right? They're trying to heat their buildings because the long seasons are heat. Well, in the southern states, we have big chilled water pumps. We're trying to cool everything, So it's a totally different swing. We may have 4 large chilled water pumps and maybe 1 in a redundant hot water pump because we don't have to produce a whole lot of heat. Our average temperature in Texas is in the winter is about 55 degrees. It gets colder sometimes and whatnot, but in general, our biggest concern is being able to cool buildings.
Honestly, the best thing I can tell you is don't close the book. Leave it open and turn the pages and be willing to accept new information. Just because you've done something for 20 years, it doesn't mean you know how to do it the next 2 weeks. And we hear it all the time from customers. I've been doing this for 25 years and I've never seen it. Well, guess what? We've introduced a whole new slew of products. We've got new efficiencies. We've got new regulations. We've got new ways of doing things. So my recommendation to anybody getting in this business is always be open to change.
Yeah, and open to learning, right?
Absolutely.
In a job like this, you never stop learning. And no matter how long you're in it, no matter how much you think you know, you're always learning something.
Yeah, it's a continual process. And even the things, if you're not using like one resource that you learned 5 years ago and then it pops up 5 to 10 years later, you find yourself relearning it. There's constantly, and there's just always new challenges that you're facing and new solutions that you can offer towards it. So, it's more, keeping an open mind and just research, and use the resources that we have through different, our manufacturers, product specialists, and being able to go to them that deal with, the specific things every day, and knowing who to contact and where your resources are.
Great. Well, we really appreciate you all taking some time and chatting with us today, and we wish you an awesome 2020 in Oslin Nation.
Don't mess with Texas.
Thank you.
Thanks. The Solving Water podcast is produced and distributed by Xylem, a global water technology company of more than 16,000 employees committed to solving critical water and infrastructure challenges worldwide. Stream, download, and subscribe